Alright, welcome back to our PowerPoint series. This is for exam 77-422, PowerPoint 2013. In this video, we're going to go over how to customize presentation options and views. Alright, so what I've done here is I've just made a generic PowerPoint presentation, and it just has a couple slides in it. I really haven't added any content to these slides because that's really not what this lesson is about, is adding content. It's more of a visual type lesson. I'm going to show you how to change your page setup options. Now, by default, PowerPoint puts things in a certain size, in a certain orientation. This is the landscape orientation, and for those of you that are not familiar with the term landscape, it means that it's laying on its long edge, not its short edge. We can change this by going to the Design tab of our Affluent ribbon. We click the slide size option, and we have a standard 4.3 resolution. It tells you some things here. You are scaling to a new slide size. Would you like to maximize the size of your content or scale it down to ensure it'll fit on the new slide? So we're going to cancel out of that. What I really want to hit up is the custom slide size. Now what I can do is I can make things for slides. I can do all types of different things here, all types of settings here, that type of thing. These are, of course, use the one that's most appropriate to your application. I can change the width and the height. I can number slides from either 1 or 2 or whatever number, 0. That's cool. Orientation of my slides. Suppose I want my slides to be in portrait orientation, which means that it's on its short edge, not its long edge. This would be as you're reading a book, a standard book or something like that, that's in portrait orientation. I can even change the orientation of my notes, handouts, and my outline, which we really haven't gotten into those yet. So I'm going to hold off a little bit on this, and when we get into notes and handouts and things of that nature, we can revisit this, but it's just the same thing. Do you want these to sit on the portrait orientation or the landscape orientation? Right. If I click OK here, we'll say your skin. Would you like to maximize the size of your content or scale it down to ensure it'll fit? We're going to ensure fit. Why not? There we go. And now it makes it portrait. I'm going to change it back to landscape. There we go. And I'm back in landscape. I just like landscape a little bit better for PowerPoint. Alright. Now, as you can see in this presentation, or this skeleton presentation as it were, I have applied a theme, or I've created this from a template that has a theme applied to it already. Now, what happens if I print out these slides as a handout from our audience or something like that? How is it going to look? Let's say that I printed out on a monochrome laser printer. Monochrome just means black and white. Laser printer. But I don't know how it's going to look when I print it out. So do I want to go through all the trouble to design a 45 slide slideshow, have it not look good in black and white, and then have to redesign it so my handouts look good? There's a difference between a handout and a visual representation on the screen. Keep that in mind when you're making your presentations. If I click the View tab on my Affluent ribbon, you can currently see that it is set to the color setting, and we can see just visually that it is. We have the gradient color going from like a dark orange to a light orange. That's what gradient means. It goes from one color to another in some direction or maybe multiple directions. You can see that it's dark orange on both the left and right areas here. And then as it generally gets to the center, it turns lighter. How is this going to look in a grayscale environment, for instance? So if I click the grayscale option here, I can see what it's going to look like. It turns out this theme actually looks pretty decent in a grayscale environment. And this is something you want to check out before you print, 10 copies, 1 copy, 100 copies, whatever. You can actually check it out on the screen to see how it's going to look. Now I'm going to switch back to color view. Go. And I am going to go to view again, and I want to see how does it look in black and white. There we go. And I can do all types of other stuff here. I'm going to go back to Grayscale for a minute to where I actually have some objects on the screen. And go back to View and Grayscale. There we go. And you can click on an object and you can change it. Inverse Grayscale. Okay, you can inverse it. Here we go. Let's see. What can I do here? Light Grayscale. I think these are all background things. That's why it's not working. If I add a shape to this, which we're going to get into this in another lesson. There we go. I'm going to put just a nice square rectangle right there. Alright. And then I'm going to go back to View and Grayscale. Go. And I'm going to keep that selected. And if I say gray with white fill, I can select these options here. Black with grayscale fill. Light grayscale. Grayscale. Automatic, if I want it to be automatic. Black. White. Don't show it. How about just don't show it on this slide? I can still select it because it's there, and I can make different options here. So you might want to mess with this and see what you can come up with for your own presentations. It's something I do whenever I print out, before I print out my handouts and stuff like that. I check to see what it looks like in Grayscale. Alright, views. We have normal view here. And in normal view, we have thumbnails of our slides on the left-hand side, and we have a working area for our slides on the right-hand side. And this is where I can move things within my slides. I can add things, delete things, that type of thing. I can align things. We're going to get all into that in another lesson. What I want you guys to see here is that you can change the view on your slides, and then you can be more efficient when you're doing certain things. For example, if I wanted to change the order of my slides, you know, I just have 5 slides in this slideshow, but let's say I have 50 slides in this slideshow, and I want to change the order of them. Well, using the thumbnail view over on the left hand side might be a little bit cumbersome, because if you add more slides, let me show you what happens here. New slide, comparison, new slide, section header, new slide, title, content. Now you got a scroll bar. So let's say I want to move this guy all the way up over here. I got to wait for it to scroll and hope I get it in the right place. If you're not that adept at dragging and dropping, it might be a little confusing for you. If I try to get it, you know, off over here or something like that, it's not going to work. Maybe I don't drag and drop right and I put it at the title slide. Well, I don't want that. Now I got to drag it over here. Again, going back to the view menu, the view tab of my Fluent ribbon. If I click the slide sorter view, go. Now this is nothing but my thumbnails. So this is a little bit more efficient for me. I can right click on this. I can click cut and paste it in other areas, which you had with the other normal view as well. But this just gives me a little bit, and this depends on the resolution of your screen. I have the resolution of my screen set a little low so everybody can see it. And then you can drag things around a little bit better, a little more adept at doing things. Go. Yeah, it's just a little more clear as to what's going on. Of course, I have no content in these slides yet. If I want to go back to normal view, just click normal view, and I'm back to normal view. If I want to do outline view, for instance, here we go. Let me go up to the beginning here, and I'm going to click to add a title. Here we go. Title of this slide. There we go. No actual content, but I guess that is content, but whatever. All right. This is item 1. This is item 3. You get to see my great typing skills here too. If I go to outline view, there we go. Now I have all these things in outline view, and I can actually change them. This is item 0, and it changes them in real time. All right, now the benefit of this is, if I go back to normal view, and I'm going to change the layout of this slide to title and content, just so I can show you. how this benefits you. This is the item 3456, item ABC, item, I don't know, XYZ. Here we go. Now, if I want to see what items are in my list here, I have to click back and forth between these two slides. And let's say I'm doing a comparison. I want to make sure I didn't forget anything, or maybe I want to see if the items are going to flow between the slides. I don't want to go from one slide that has some topics to another slide that has different topics to a slide that has items that pertain to the first slide I was looking at. So if I go to View and Outline View, there we go. Now I can see this stuff. It's laid out a little better for me. And I can click between my slides here. I can change things. I can add things. Here we go. I can make a sub-item, and it puts it in real time for me. That's the great thing about Outline View. I use it quite a bit. I can change. Can I change the? Here we go. I can change the text. The font type, the font size, the font color, whether or not it's centered. You know, everything like that. So I don't have to go to my home tab all the time and change things. That's pretty cool. If I go to Notes View, now Notes View is, I'm going to zoom in on this just a little bit so we can see kind of what's going on. There we go. Now Notes View is for when I am making my presentation. I can add notes for myself. These take the place of the old 3x5 index cards you see people use in the past. So I can say, here we go, speak about item 0, and I can say best in its class, priced right for your budget. Here we go. And I'll be holding these notes pages. I'll print them out, and I'll be holding these notes pages, and I'll be making additional subject matter to my bulleted items on my slide. You don't want to jam every detail into your slides, because that just junks it up. You want to keep the bullets to your slides as short and as sweet as possible. And then in my notes pane down here, I put in extra information that I want to say about my bulleted items. Okay? And you can even print these out and give them as a handout to your audience as well, if you're inclined to such a thing. Reading view is just that. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So reading view is just kind of a mini slide view, or excuse me, a mini slideshow view where I can just click through and look at them. It's really not anything spectacular. There we go. You can get the same thing by going to slideshow from the beginning. I don't like a lot of the reading views in most of the Microsoft programs, but it's nice to know it's there. Alright, last thing we're going to look at in this video is how to modify presentation properties. And these are the actual metadata of your presentation. Alright, so if I go to File, and the minute I click on my File tab in my Affluent ribbon, I can see that the Info area is selected for me automatically. And then what I can do is under Properties, I can change certain things. I can add a tag. Here we go. If I want to tag myself in this presentation, here we go. Categories. Business. Hidden slide 0. Size not yet saved. Author. Show all properties. Here we go. And user. Here we go. That's the user that made it. I can put in contact information for my Windows user, maybe I'm part of an Active Directory domain environment, that type of thing. Who last modified this presentation? So I can see who modified this last. If somebody went in and deleted a whole bunch of slides, then I know who did it. Last printed, it was never printed before. Company, here we go. We'll say PC Cleric. Go, hyper subjects, here we go. How to make a list. There we go. Alright, so we'll go in and we'll fill out as few or as many of these as we want. Some things you can't edit. For instance, you can't edit the presentation format from here. You can't edit the multimedia clips from here or anything like that. If I go up and save this, let me go back to my thing, save it. Here we go. I'm going to save it to my computer under my documents. Okay, and I'll just save it as presentation 1. Okay. And I will close out of that. Now, if I go to my Affluent ribbon and I search, let's see if it's updated yet. Adam VZ. There we go, presentation 1. Hey, look, it shows up in a search. So now I can open up that file. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's going to ask me to activate Office. I'm not going to do that right now. If you have a product key, you won't get that nag screen. That's okay. Let's say that I wanted to go to this and how to make a list. Hey, looky there, subject, how to make a list. So it does behoove you to put in this information, because then this information becomes indexed in your operating system and you can search based off of these fields. Alright, thank you for watching my video series. This is lesson 3. We are going to be putting up lesson 4 very soon, and we have lesson 1 and lesson 2 available to you right at this time. Alright, thank you so much for viewing my videos. I hope you found them informative.